Now let's get started by going through the File tab in PowerPoint. So if you click on File, you get this relatively new and modern view. It's been around for a while, and you may have seen it in previous versions of Office. Now you see we've got the Home, which is the default tab that opens up where you can create new presentations using these standardized themes, or you can have a look at your recent files, your favorites, and any files shared with you from within your organization. You can also click on New to get all of the themes up on screens that you can select. You can choose one of these fancy themes, or you can start by clicking on a blank presentation. You can have a look at these themes more in depth by clicking on them, and then it will pop up and it will show you the thumbnail a bit larger, and it will tell you a little bit more about it. You can also scroll through this and have a look at different themes that are available. And you can also click create and it will download the theme for you. You can click open to open any PowerPoint file on your device or from OneDrive or SharePoint. You can also search your PC and you can browse files normally. If you have a file, you can also share it. To do this, it needs to be a cloud file, so if it isn't saved to the cloud, you will be asked to upload your presentation. You also still have the classic options of sharing it via email as a PowerPoint presentation, or you can send it as a PDF in an email. If we go back to File, we also have these other options here. We have info, which tells you a little bit more about your presentation, and you can manage it as well. So if you want to password protect your presentation, you can do that with encrypt with password. You can restrict access, add digital signatures, always make the file open as read only by default, or you can mark as final to prevent any unwanted edits to the file. You can also inspect the document for any issues or compatibility problems. You can have a look at version history, previous versions of the file you're using. This is very useful with SharePoint and OneDrive files if you've made a change by mistake. And you can recover unsaved presentations or delete those which are cached. If you click on save, it would save your file, but because we haven't saved the file yet that we have open, it will go to the Save As tab. And this allows you to choose where you want to save it. So if we use our OneDrive, we're going to call this PowerPoint. And we're just going to hit enter and it saves. And as you see, it's now in our OneDrive, and we can access our version history here as well. If we go back to the file menu, we have the option to print our presentation. So here you can select your printer, you can select the properties of your printer, whether you want your pages to be in grayscale or color. You can select full page slides, pages with notes on them, an outline of your presentation. You really have choice here. You can also export your presentation as various items, as a PDF, as a video, an animated document, a package presentation for CD, which seems very retro. You can create handouts and you can change the file type. Now what we're going to do is we're going to select a template. We're going to click create. And we're just going to copy this and bring it across into our other presentation. And as you see, we've got those slides in our PowerPoint presentation now. There are also shortcuts available. If you want to create a new presentation, you can just do Control N and it will open a brand new PowerPoint presentation. If you want to open a file, you can do Control O and the open pane will appear. If you want to save a file, there is a shortcut for that. So let's say we'll make some changes and you can hit Control S to save. If you want to print your presentation, you would use Control P and here you'll get the print pane open up. And if you're finished with the presentation, you can click Close or Control W to close your presentation. If you make a change that you do by accident, you can also undo that by doing Control Z. You can also redo or repeat changes by doing Control Y, or you can just select the redo at the top left. You can also change your presentation views by having a look at what is in the bottom right. So as you see, we have the normal view currently. Now if you click on it again, it moves into this outline view. You also have a slide sorter. So if you need to quickly move slides around, so let's say we want this timeline to be before the table, you can just drag that. If we want some content before the team slide, we can drag that as well. And there is a reading view where you can go through reading through the content on the slides without it being in full screen. You also have the ability to make your presentation into the slideshow by clicking on that other icon there, and you can go through the slides by using your arrow keys, or you can click on your mouse. You can click on F1 for some help. So if you need help with something on a slide, you also have recommended topics as well. This is very useful and helpful if you need any assistance. So let's say I'm not sure how to add animation. It goes through in detail step by step what you can do for an animation. So here it says select the text, shape, picture or object, go to the animations tab and then choose your animation. And you can zoom in on your slides as well. So let's say you want to make something intricate or you need to click on something that's small, you can zoom in using the zoom slider in the bottom right, all the way up to 400%. And if you need to zoom back out, you have the box with the 4 arrows pointing out. If you click on that, it fits the slide to the screen so you can see the entirety of your slide. To open any presentation, use the shortcut Control O. To create a new presentation, use the shortcut Control N. To print a presentation, click Control P. To insert a new slide, hit Control M. To hide or show the notes pane, hit Control Shift H. To close the presentation, hit Control W. To exit PowerPoint, hit Control Q. And for any help, click F1. To cut text, content, images or shapes, select it and then do the shortcut Control X. To copy images or text or items on a PowerPoint, select it and do Control C. And when you're happy, paste it and do Control V. You can undo a change by doing Control Z. If you need to redo something, you can do Control Y. If you have some shapes together and you want to group them, just select your shapes and then do Control G to group them together. You can also ungroup them by right-clicking, going to Group and clicking Ungroup. If you want to find text, you can do Control F to open the Find pane and then search the word you're looking for. If you want to replace text as well, you can do Control H and it will bring out the Find and Replace pane as well. So you can find the word you're looking for or you can replace a word. So if I put in the word agenda and let's say I want to replace it with topics, I can then click Replace All and as you see it's changed the word from agenda to topics. And if you want to select everything on a slide, just do Control A and it will select everything. To make text bold, select it and do Control B. To make text in an italics format, do Control I. To underline text, do Control U. To align text to the left, do Control L. To align text to the right, do Control R. To align text in the center, do Control E. And to justify the text from end to end, do Control J. To begin your slideshow, you can click on F5 and it will go to the first slide in your presentation. If while you're in your presentation you pop back into PowerPoint to make some changes, you can resume the slideshow by doing Shift F5. If you need to end the slideshow, just click the Escape key. If you want to move to the next slide, you can hit the right arrow key or the page down key on your keyboard. If you want to go to the previous slide, you can do the left arrow key or the page up key on your keyboard. If you want to move to the first slide in your presentation, hit the home key on your keyboard. If you wish to move to the last slide in your presentation, hit the end key on your keyboard. If you want to jump to a specific slide, you can press that number and the enter key at the same time. So if we want to go to slide 7, we are now on slide 7. If we want to go to slide 9, we can get to slide 9. If we want to go to slide 5, we can do that as well. If you want to toggle the screen to be black, just hit the B key. And if you want the screen to be fully white, hit the W key. If you want to change your cursor to be a pen, hit Control P. And then you can start drawing on your presentation. If you want to change it back into a cursor, hit Control A. Now let's work on an entirely brand new presentation. And let's say we want to insert a new slide. So we can do that by going to New Slide and clicking this to open all the different variations in the slide master. So we've got a title slide, title and content, section header, to content comparison, title only, blank, content with caption, and picture with caption. And we'll go through these in a moment. But if you just want to quickly insert a new slide, you can click the top one, or you can use the shortcut Control M, and it will just add in the standard default next slide, which is a title and content view. Now, say you want to change the layout of this slide, you can right click on the slide and go to layout. And here you can change it to whatever it is that you want it to be. You can even change it to a title only slide, or you can change it to a blank slide. Now, if we go for a new title slide, you can put your title and a subtitle. So here most people put their presentation name, and in the subtitle they put their name or the presenters. Now, if we go to new slide and do title and content, we can see that you've got a title for your slide. You can add text, or you can insert an image, create some smart art. You can insert a cameo, you can insert a video, a table, or a graph. Now you can choose one of these. I'm going to select smart art, and it will bring up all the different smart art graphics you can insert. Same if we click on pictures, you're asked what device or where you want to grab a picture from. Insert a video, it will open up to search locally. A table, you'll be asked how many rows or columns. A chart, you'll be asked what sort of chart you want to insert. And cameo, it will insert a little camera thing which you can utilize and put on your slide. If you accidentally click one of these and you want to go back, you always have the Control Z button. You can also add slides from a different presentation by going to new slide and reuse slides. Once you click on that, you'll get this pane on the right hand side, and it will recommend some files for you. Now we're going to choose this PowerPoint file, and we're going to choose content. And here what it will do is it will select slides for you from that presentation, so you can choose which ones you want. So let's say I want this slide, you just click on it and it appears. If we want the last slide, we just click on that and it appears. You can do this for any files that are in OneDrive, SharePoint, or on your local PC. You can also duplicate slides by either clicking on it and then going to new slides and duplicate selected slides, and it will duplicate it. Or you can select the slides you want by holding Control and then doing Control C and Control D, and it will duplicate all of those selected slides for you. You can also cut, copy and paste with controls in the Home tab. So if I selected the thank you, I could then click on copy and then click on paste to duplicate it. I can also click cut to remove it from where it is, go to a different slide and hit paste, and it will then be brought onto that slide. Now, as you may have just seen, the thank you has now changed in font. And as you see, there's this little control for the paste options. If you click on that, you can either paste the original cut or copy as an image, so it would look something like this and you can't edit it, or you can paste it keeping the original source's formatting. So if it was a specific font style, as we see here, it will keep that, and then you can continue typing and changing it. So if you wanted to put in any questions piece, you could write any questions, for example. If you need to add notes to your slides for presentations or even for your slide handouts, you can go to the View tab and click on Notes page. And then in this box here, you can type your presentation notes. So you put any questions, poke the room for any questions, remain calm. Something for yourself to remember. Now if you go back to the normal view, you can now see in our notes section it has exactly what we have written there. This is really helpful if, for example, the notes section is hidden and you don't know how to get to it quickly. Let's say that I have a presentation and it's one that's saved to the cloud, and I want Alex, for example, in my company to make a comment. So I'm just going to switch over to the presentation that I do have saved in the cloud. And let's say I wanted on this chart slide for there to be more up-to-date data and only Alex can provide it. So you can add a comment to notify Alex. So you can either right-click on the slide and click New Comment, to which it pops out the comments pane on the right-hand side. And as you can see, it started with a comment from myself. Now, if I do @ sometimes it freezes. But if I do an @ symbol and then I click on Alex, can you please update the chart data on this slide? You can click to assign it to Alex, so it would also appear in his to-do lists. And then you can click send. And now what Microsoft will do is it will send a notification to Alex where he's been assigned this task of updating the chart data in this particular file. It does take a moment to post, but if you do need to add any other comments, you can do that as well. Also, with comments, what you can do is you can react to comments as well by giving them a thumbs up. If you've written a comment, you can edit it to update it, and you can reply underneath as well. So you can have a back and forth conversation within the comment on a certain topic. So you could either put as updated and hit Control Enter to post that message, or if it's completely resolved, you can click on the 3 dots and click Resolve Thread, and it will look as resolved. If you've accidentally resolved a comment thread, you can just click the undo button and it will be bringing it back so that the conversation can continue. And if you no longer need it because it has been resolved, you can also delete the thread by clicking on the little bin to delete the comment on that slide or on that object in the file. You can check spelling within your presentation by hitting F7, or what you can also do is go to the Review tab and click on Spelling. And here you'll be asked to go through, and if there's a spelling mistake and there's a suggestion, you can then correct it. So if I just remove the last few letters here and I click Resume, you can now see that words to correct that. So title, for example, you would double click and add, and once the spell check is complete, you will see OK. You can find any text in a presentation. You can go to the home page and click on Find and Replace, and then you can type the text you want to find. So if I want to look for the word title, we can see there's 12 instances of the word title within our presentation. You can also say you want to replace the word title with a capital T. And let's say you want it to match the whole case, and it has to be the whole word only. So if the word title is part of the word subtitle, it won't pick that up. Say you want to change it with placeholder. You can then click Replace All, and as you see, it has then gone through and replaced them. You can also edit or update your document properties by going to File, going to Info, and then here you can go through and start editing the properties of your presentation. So if you want to give it a title, so I might give it a title of Contoso Presentation. You can also add in categories, you can add in multiple authors, and you can also show all properties for the document. So here you can see various things like words, comments, clips, presentation format, hyperlink base, a lot of different things that you would not be able to initially see on the first glance. And finally, you can password protect your presentation. So in the File and Info tab, as we are at the moment, if you click on Protect Presentation, you can see there's an option called Encrypt with Password. If you click on that, you get a little pop-up to type in your password. So we're going to just type in the word password, but I suggest you use something stronger than that, and then hit enter or click OK. You'll be asked to re-input the password, so remember whatever password you're choosing, and that it is case sensitive. If you ever forget your password, you may not be able to ever recover the presentation you're locking. And then hit OK, and now we see that the file is now password protected by the protect presentation here. So if we come out, we can see that now autosave is turned off for our cloud in the file. Whenever you password protect a file, it stops autosaving it to the cloud. Now, if I just click save one more time, and I'm going to go to File and click Close. Now, if I go back to File and I click on the presentation in OneDrive, when it opens, you're prompted with the password that you need to put in. So I'm just going to put in the password and click OK. And as you can see, the presentation now loads. If for whatever reason you type in the wrong password, you will also be unable to get in, and you're told that that isn't the right password. So if I try and open it again, let's put in the correct password this time. And if we go back to File and Info, let's go back to Protect Presentation. Now, if you unclick this Encrypt with Password and you remove this and click OK, you can see the password has now been removed and that the protection for the encryption with password has now gone. So if we go back to here and click Save, we can see autosave is now turned back on. So if I go back to File and Close, and then I'll go back to File and then open it again, you can see there is now no prompt for that file with a password. You can also organize your presentation by adding sections. So if, say, I wanted to add a section here to talk about a specific topic all as one, I can just right click on the slide and go to Add Section. And here you can name your section. So I'll just name it Topic 1 in this instance and hit Enter. Now, what you can do is you can then end up creating more sections as well. So if, say, we needed a new section here, we could do right click and click Add Section, and I'll just call it Topic 2. And then what you can do is you can collapse the sections by right clicking on it and clicking Collapse All, and then you can see what sections you have. If you needed to move Topic 2 ahead of Topic 1, you would just hold it and drag it above, and vice versa. If you wanted to rename the default section, you can just right click on it and click Rename Section, and you might call this Intro, for example. You can also expand any of these. You don't have to have them all expanded or all of them collapsed. It's your choice as well. Additionally, you can have a look at your presentation on just its text by going to the outline view. So if you go to the view tab at the top, you can see there is outline view. If you click on that, you can see on the left hand side all the different pieces of text across your presentation. Now, this does not include any images or graphics or special things you may have on the slide. So as you can see, for example, on this slide, on slide 14, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 underneath the content. So these are 4 different elements on the slide. And as we go through and click on the slide, we can see these are 4 different text boxes. So it's kind of useful in that regard. The images aren't picked up in here, but the text for name and placeholders are, as you can see, on this other slide. You can also go to the slide sorter view, which is this 2x2 grid in the view pane. It's also this 2x2 grid down in the bottom right hand corner. And here you can see our sections which we created earlier. And then we can also see all of the slides at a snapshot view. This is a really useful way if you need to reorder your slides. So let's say we wanted this introduction to come a little bit earlier, we could just drag that. If we needed to move slides between sections, so let's say we wanted the team in the intro, we could just drag that from the topic 2 section into the team section, into the intro, and you can reorganize your slides very quickly as well. If for whatever reason you need to hide or unhide a slide, you can do that as well. So let's say I want to hide this chart slide, right click and click on hide slide. And now you see it's slightly dimmer in contrast to the other slides. It's more noticeable on the normal view. Because if you have a look at the normal view, you can see there's a slash through the slide number, which is slide 8. If you want to make it visible again in the presentation, you can right click on it and click unhide slide, and then it will be shown during the presentation slideshow view mode. Now you can start a slideshow by going to slideshow and clicking from beginning or from current slide, or you can hit the F5 key. When you hit F5, it goes to the beginning of your presentation. Now, if you ever need to end a presentation, there are a few ways that you can do that. You can press the escape key on your keyboard. You can use the 3-dot menu at the bottom and then click on that and click on end show, or right click on anywhere on the slide and then click end show. And then it will pop out of the presentation on the slide that you are on. Now, if you want to advance to the next slide, you can either click on the next slide button in the bottom left to go to the next slide. You can use your right arrow key on your keyboard, the page down button, or you can use the space bar to move to the next slide. If you want to go backwards, you can press the previous slide button in the bottom left to go back a slide. You can press the left arrow key to go back a slide. You can press the page up key to go back a slide. And you can even use the backspace key to go back a slide. Now, let's say you want to highlight something in particular. You can use your laser pointer. So if you hold down the control key and then you click down with your left key on the slide, you can highlight something with your laser pointer. Now this works if you hold down the control key and hold down the left mouse button. Now you can also use a pen in your presentation. So if you do Control P, what happens is your cursor turns into a mouse and you can start drawing things. You might want to point an arrow at something. You might want to say these two are linked together. You might want to circle something. It's really there for you to go and annotate. If you want to switch back to a cursor, you can do Control A, and as you see, the cursor then returns. Now, if you press E, it erases all of your annotations on the slide. You can also temporarily hide the current slide in your presentation. Now, if you want to have a black screen or a white screen, you can use the respective B and W keys to show that screen color. So if you want it black, just hit the B letter on your keyboard and the screen will go black. You can hit the escape key to come back out of that onto your slide, And if you hit the W key, the slide goes completely white. You can also zoom into your slide by clicking the zoom icon, which is looking like a magnifying glass in the bottom left. When you click on that, you will get this sort of window, and it moves with your cursor. So if you were to click here, for example, you would see a zoomed in part of the slide, and you can scroll up, scroll down. This might be useful if you have something small like a large mind map fitted on a slide. And if you want to zoom back out and see the entirety of the slide, you can hit the escape key. You can also start presenter view. This is by default on your laptop screen if you have a monitor attached. And if you right click on any slide, you can see show presenter view. And you can also get this from the 3-dot menu in the bottom left. So if you click show presenter view, you get a slightly different view of your presentation. You can see your current slide and you can see what the next slide is. Additionally, any notes you've put on the slide will appear in your click to add notes section. You can also add notes in here whilst you are in presenter view. So don't talk too long on this slide, for example. You might want to make as a note to yourself. And if at any time you want to go back into the normal large screen presentation, you can click on the 3 dots, click hide presenter view, or you can click on display settings. And what you may be able to do is swap your presenter view and slideshow. Now, because this is on a single screen, they're grayed out. So we'll click on the 3 dots and click hide presenter view. And now we're back in the large screen, full screen presentation mode. Now you can also create a custom slideshow from your presentation. Now this might be useful if you need to have 2 different sort of presentation shows, one for a morning session, one for an afternoon session, that will cover both the same of the majority content, but you want the morning slides in the morning and the afternoon slides for the afternoon session. You can go to slideshow and go and click on create custom slideshow and click on custom shows. Now what you can do here is click on new, and what you'll do is you'll select the slides you want to have in your presentation. So for example, I'm going to click on slides 3, 4, 5, 6 and 8, and I'm just going to click add, and these will be slides 1 through 5 on my presentation. I can rearrange these slides, and if there's any I want to get rid of, I can also do that. So let's say I selected the chart by mistake, I can then click on remove and it will remove it from my custom show. Now we're just going to leave this as custom show 1 and we're going to click OK. And what we can do is then click on show. And as you can see, we've got this first slide, then we've got second slide, third slide, fourth slide, and fifth slide doesn't exist because we removed it. And if we go back and click on this 2x2 grid with one square sticking out in the bottom left, we can see we've got the 4 slides that we have selected for the custom show. Now if I click the back arrow and come out and we go to show presenter view, we see we've got those 4 slides as well, and it works in the same fashion as we have just seen previously. Now you can also convert your presentations into a video. Now if you go to File and click on Export, you can then click on Create a Video. Now you can use recorded timings and narrations if you have them saved, but seeing as we don't have any, we can't use it, but we can record a video by clicking on Record a Video. And once you're happy with it, you can create video. So we're just going to do this, and here it wants to save it somewhere. I'm just going to choose the downloads folder. We're going to click export, and as you see at the bottom, it is exporting PowerPoint into an MP4 file. Now, because this presentation isn't too large, it's not taking that long. And once you're happy, you can click on it, to open it and then click on yes to continue. And then you can open it in your media player, be it the default built-in or your own custom chosen one. Additionally, if you don't have any pre-recorded ones as mentioned, you can click on record a video. And when you click on record a video, it will pop into this record view, which is relatively new. And you can go through these little pieces to kind of tell you a bit more about this record mode. Now, if you click next and go through and got it once done, you can then add notes like it's a teleprompter, and you can go through your slides. So this just previews your slides. You get the pen, the laser pointer options, the colors, the different views. You can mute your microphone. You can enable auto scroll, which will read and make it show like a teleprompter, especially if you've got a lot of text in your notes section. And you have the recording button to start recording. And once you're finished with it after going through your presentation, you can then click export to export your video the same way we just did.